Canadian Sour Patch Kids. They're definitely Canadian. They already apologized for me for being so tasty. Sorry. All right, good morning everybody. We are on the road headed out from Prince George. We stayed at just a general RV park last night so I could do my laundry because I haven't done it yet. And I got a shower in, went to bed at a decent hour, but we hit the road by 5:30 this morning. It was about 20 minutes though north of the actual city. And I was hoping on the way back to the highway that we would be able to see a Tim Hortons because they're everywhere. And unfortunately we didn't, so we still need to get a little bit of caffeine in us this morning. But the goal for today is to try to make it all the way down to Regina, which is about 15 hours-ish. Well, now Google says 14 hours. 934 miles total left. If we don't, Saskatoon is about 12 hours away, so that'd be our next stop if we get too tired again. Just trying to make our way back home today, or it's not today, we're gonna get home by Friday. So that's our goal though, to drive as far as we can again. And we don't really have a destination or a place to stay yet, but luckily with this trailer it makes it pretty easy to either do an RV park or some sort of campground, or I don't think there's any pullouts along the way. Plus we're kind of, I don't know, I don't feel as comfortable in this area as I would have been in some of those areas in northern British Columbia. So, well, and the weather is supposed to be pretty rainy this morning in BC. I didn't really check it for the Saskatoon, Regina area, but we'll see when we get there. Last time it was super hot and dry, so hopefully it'll stay that way, at least dry. So when we do get to camp, we won't have to be eating dinner or setting up anything in the rain. Anyways, here we go.
Everybody, hey, it's time to wake up. Are we ready? Things are gonna shake up. Can you feel it? Feel it on the inside. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now. We can always reach a little higher. Find a way to light a little fire. Turn it up and never let it down. You know nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now. We've never been this far before. This could be the defining moment. This could be the defining moment. History will unfold before us. This could be the defining moment of our lives. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
So I'm hoping I got it on camera because it was a beautiful mountain that just came around the corner. And I guess that's Mount Robson, or Robeson, however you want to say it. And there's a huge park and a ton of trails around here. Definitely very beautiful and wish I could stop, but we are heading forward. We are actually going to route ourselves through Calgary instead, because then we can take the highway that goes between Jasper and Banff and just get views of the mountains and that pretty parkway there on the way. So it's going to take us about 30 minutes longer, but we've already driven this far, so might as well take that extra 30 minutes to make sure we get some beautiful views and beautiful driving as we make our way back home. All right. All right, so we just got to Jasper, and it looks like if you do route yourself through Edmonton, there's no park fee, but if you're going through Calgary, because you're driving to the park and driving through Banff, it's $10.50 for an adult Canadian to drive through. So that's what we're doing, and they definitely have signs that don't get out of your car and approach wildlife, so hopefully we can see some along the way. Just saw a bear down the road, but black bear, come on. Just kidding. So we'll see what we see along the way, but definitely a very, very pretty drive so far. All right, so we got done through our drive through Jasper, and you go through a little bit of Banff National Park. You only have to pay the one fee to take that drive, though, and you hop back on to the Trans-Canada Highway 1 that will take you through Banff, the city, as well as to Calgary. So that's where we're headed. The total drive actually was a lot longer than I thought. So if you are driving through and you do want to stop, it'll take more than 3 hours. It took me about 3 hours just to do a drive, with stopping once for a bathroom break and everything. But now we're actually looking to get some gas soon. But anyways, this drive is definitely worth it. Beautiful mountain ranges all around. Definitely not different than the Colorado mountains, but nonetheless so beautiful and very just breathtaking in some of the areas that you will pass through. So driving on to Calgary. All right, so it looks like we're going to be about an hour and a half short of Regina tonight. I've got about 3-ish more hours left in me for driving. That puts us in the city of Swift Current. So looking at that city, there's plenty of motels, hotels, and some RV parks. Usually the RV parks don't have anyone staffed after 8 p.m., so we might just have to go to a motel tonight, which actually with the trailer is a little bit more difficult because I have to get all my stuff out of the trailer and bring it up, but that's the least of my worries right now. Because we changed time zone as well, the sun is now setting sooner, technically, so I don't have as much daylight to get to a campsite or an RV park as well. So that's the plan for tonight. And we're back into flat country of Canada with a lot of ranches and farmland out here in this part of Alberta. But we just stopped for gas, fed Remy dinner, got some McDonald's. But yeah, so we shouldn't have much to do once we get to the motel or RV park, whatever I find when we get there. But anyways, if I don't talk again, hopefully nothing else happens, I'll see you in the morning. All right, good morning, everybody. We are finally on the road, and what I mean by finally is about an hour ago I actually was ready to go, but needed to stop by and get some gas and fill up before we headed out. I only had about a quarter tank left. And for this entire trip, whenever I'm half a tank or below and I see a gas stop, I usually will stop just because I don't know how long it is between the gas stations. But anyways, we had to go to 4 different gas stations this morning to try to find a pump that worked. The first one was 24-hour pay at the pump, but none of the pay at the pump machines were on, so it was just black. So I went to the next one that was a little bit back farther that we had passed, and then that one didn't even have a pay at the pump option, and since it was like 5:45 in the morning, no one was there to take my card. So we had to go actually down a couple miles because it was off a frontage road, turn around and go to the other side of the highway. And then it was a nice Petro-Canada one, had all the amenities. And so I go to the first pump and put my card in, it goes through, put the gas pump in my car, and then start to pump, and nothing's happening, just dead. So I'm like, oh gosh. So, I'm trying to push buttons, trying to click the pump, see if it's just not pressurized. And I'm like, okay, this pump must not be working. So then I turn my car on again, and I go around to another pump, and the exact same thing. So then I go inside, I'm like, hey, am I just being stupid? Is there something wrong? Or the pump's not working? I just don't know what to do. He's like, oh yeah, none of them have been working all morning. So I said, oh, that would have been nice to know 2 pumps ago. So then I just grabbed some water because Remy and I needed more water for the road. And then I asked the cashier, I'm like, well, where's the nearest one? He's like, well, just down the frontage road, which is back from where I was coming from again. So I go there, and then finally I pay at the pump, and my card isn't going through. I'm like, oh, great. What's happening? So I tried again. Transaction canceled, not accepted. So I try my other bank card, and it's the same thing. And I go inside, and the lady's like, I go, hey, are the pump's working? The transaction not going through? It's like, well, sometimes it gets a little finicky. It was probably because I had like 3 other transactions before that at Pay the Pump, and my bank was just declined transaction. So I prepaid inside, finally got the gas. And the light at the end of the tunnel of this gas story is that it was right next to a Tim Hortons. So I was able to go get one of the breakfast wraps and some hot coffee to be caffeinated this morning after that little hour probably delay and excursion trying to get gas. But Tim Hortons was wonderful. It was very quick and easy, and the breakfast wrap was really good. I did end up dropping it on the floor, but I gave it the good old 10-second rule. And it was a little bit sandy, but I ate it anyways because after, surviving over 2+ years of this pandemic, who doesn't literally need a little bit of grit in them? So we had a nice sandy breakfast wrap, and it was delicious. And now we're well on our way back home. We're gonna try to hit the Twin Cities tonight, potentially to stay at family tonight, just because it's about a 13-hour drive from Swift Current to the Twin Cities, and then we've got about 876 miles to go with the border crossing. So I'll probably get there about 9 p.m. The kids will already be in bed, but at least I will get a hot shower in the morning and a free campsite to stay at if I hit up my sister's or not. But anyways, it is rainy and dreary this morning. I forgot to wipe the bugs off my windshield because there's a lot of bugs around here when I got to get gas. So we'll see how much footage I can get on the way back, but we've been through Saskatchewan before, and now just heading down through Saskatchewan into North Dakota. Oh, and we ended up staying at a campground last night. It was Swift Current's newest campground called Kilton Hill, and it's just this couple who lives on a farm, and they made a little campground / RV site on their farmland. So it was actually one of the nicest ones I've been to. It was clean. They had plenty of space between the RV sites, and it was only 1.5 miles off the freeway, off the highway here, but you could not hear anything. So it was very quiet. Bathrooms were clean, and it was the fastest Wi-Fi that I have gotten so far at one of these RV campgrounds. And so that was really nice stay, just to be able to pull in, pay, and set up camp for the night instead of trying to find and book a motel. But yeah, it's called the Kilton Hill Campground, and it's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles west of town. So if you're coming from the east, it'll be one of the first stops before you get into town. Obviously if you're going east, it'll be one of the first stops before you get into town. But it's a really nice place to stay, and the couple was wonderful. Anyways, thought I'd add that in there. So just crossed over into the U.S. and it was actually an interesting customs experience. One of the more intense one I've had coming back into the U.S. So I'm wondering if this is more of a commercial truck crossing or a lot fewer, say, tourists and travelers going through this section. Woo! Still raining outside. Big truck. But he actually searched the trailer, had me roll down my windows to the car. Took about 10 minutes to get through, but we made it, and now we're in the U.S. We have better cell phone service and better data. I'm not on the international plan anymore, but it looks like we've got about 9 hours, 600 miles until we get to the Twin Cities. So driving on.